For today's video only, I decided to break the tradition and wear a watch. Not just one, but two. This is the last time you're going to see me doing this. I hate double wristing. I don't hate it, but yeah, okay, fine. Let me explain. If you know anything about watch YouTube, you know Nico Leonard. Nico is probably the most famous watch YouTuber in the world. I actually love his content. I love the way he talks.
Really cool. A god-tier Casio Duro. This is probably the most popular and cheapest dive watch you can buy in the world today for like 50 bucks. It's a god-tier.
He talks a lot like I used to talk back in the day before I became a corporate professional. So I'm really quite enjoying listening to him. I have the same kind of bad mouth, non-filtered thoughts all the time. I just learn how to filter them. That's one. If you hear him talking, he always calls Casio God tier.
2 years ago, my son asked for a watch, so I bought him a brand new Casio F91W God tier, ladies and gentlemen. Because Casio is God tier. Let me tell you why Casio is God tier.
God tier is something that he invented. Everybody, all YouTubers copy it. And at first, I started thinking about this video, trying to kind of trash this idea of God tier of Casio, because let's face it, Casio had its moment in the 80s, 90s, maybe early 2000s. They did some amazing watches, especially the G-Shocks. And I have a good example of this. This is the most basic G-Shock you can get, the 5600. And to be honest, it's so basic. It looks plasticky. It looks cheap. It is cheap. I bought it for like 50 bucks back in the day. I don't know how much they go for right now. I even had money left to buy a Suunto, how do you call it, a compass, so I can live my dream of being an adventureman, even though I work in a corporate environment. And lately, my wife and I had, one of those moments where I show her watches, and he keeps telling me, "Oh my God, no, not again." Yeah, okay, good, not good, whatever. And I showed her this one, the Casio calculator, and I told her that I always thought about buying this watch, and I never did. The story with this one goes far, like from second or third grade. And I was in my classroom, and this kid in my classroom, that's back in Greece, and a kid comes, and his dad just came from an international trip, and he came and gave him this watch. And I was stunned. Like, the ability to have a full calculator into a watch was revolutionary. And that's when I started thinking about all the possibilities. What else can you fit into a watch? Which was incredible. And I found myself stopping in every store that was selling Casios to admire, especially the heavy, complicated watches like the Protreks. And they were super expensive for me back then. Like the idea of spending $200-300 on a watch or on anything was outrageous. And time passed, came today. I was blessed to have personal experience with watches, much more expensive, into the thousands, and some of them I was lucky enough to own, but I always look back into Casio to see what they're doing. And the funny thing is that if you see them after especially experiencing very high-end stuff, that they look cheaper and cheaper and cheaper in your eyes. They never changed. They're the same. Probably even better built than the originals. And they look plastic. It's just a piece of plastic with a little cheap movement. They probably make these watches for cents, and they sold it for a few tens of dollars. some examples of hundreds of dollars exist. Metal 5600 series watches, $500, $600, and so on. But the bulk of their sales is to few tens of dollars. You can't help but think how cheaply made they look comparing to the good stuff, right? And they look dated. The screens, like this one, the calculator doesn't even have a light. This one does, but then it's not like a crazy light or anything. It's fine. It's what I remember as a kid from all of the Casio watches. Now they have almost every calculation you can imagine, every complication you can imagine or you would want. There's a version that has exactly what you want. Now Casio nowadays has fallen behind. They used to be at the forefront of this digital watch industry, and today with the rise of Suunto, of even Apple Watch, they fall behind because they kept keeping the traditions of whatever menu they used to have, trying to modernize it, put color screens and everything, and it hasn't worked as well. The other companies started from scratch and they built something from the ground up, and you can tell that that software was designed today, while whatever the Casios have is a little dated looking. Now, that being said, I thought that those were my original thoughts, and I said, okay, I'm gonna trash and I'm gonna say something about Nico and that he's full of shit, basically, for talking so greatly about these watches. And then I thought about it. Both of these watches, you can buy these right now for like under $80 or just about $80. $80 for both. And if you think about it, the legendary, the first truly anti-shock movement is this. It doesn't break. They say 2 years of battery on this one. I have it for 3 or 4 and it's still going strong. This little guy here is a legend. It's one of my favorite movies that this one is in. Back to the Future, Marty McFly is wearing this, and that's what I told my wife actually, and that's how she bought this for me. And not only that, but Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, yes, also the dad wears this. So it's the official geeky cool watch, and this is a true FU watch because you know that every kid can afford this, $20, $25, but it's a legend. If you know, you know. It's a watch that if you know, you know. If you like Back to the Future, if you ever seen Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, you know what this watch is. Or if you're old enough, like you're a millennial, like I am, then you've seen this back when it was cool and there was something in you that always wanted it. Now the G-Shock, I've seen so many cool guys wearing G-Shocks, and I'm not only talking about actors and BS like that. You see special forces operators wearing G-Shocks all the time. All these big brands, they come with collaborations, Tudor, Panerai, Rolex even, Bremont, you name it, they find something to say that, oh, we worked with this military, whatever. Yes, basically, you sponsor them so they can say, yes, you guys are cool, and this way you might make some money. Now let me edit here. I wanted to say that yes, these big brands, they don't have any true collaboration today. Today they sponsor the military. Back in the day, yes, they were true tool watches for the military. But in all actuality, everybody that I talked to, from police officers to actual like military personnel, they all have a G-Shock on their wrist, and that says it all. God tier. Let me know what you guys think about G-Shocks. What do you think about Casio in general? Do you think they still have a place in today's world? I think it's complicated. It's a cool watch. It needs to do more to improve, to compete, because it used to be the cutting edge, and now it's just like I said before, operators, G-Shocks, they replace them in many cases with Suunto. So just putting it out there. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one. Ciao.